Control your thoughts, emotions, and actions to shape your destiny. Have you ever felt like you're just a passenger in your own life? Like your thoughts and emotions are in the driver's seat, and you're just along for a ride to a destination you never even chose? For years, that was my story. My days were run by runaway thoughts and knee-jerk emotional reactions. My mind felt like a storm, and I was just a ship getting tossed around on the waves, trying desperately not to capsize. I felt reactive, not proactive, a victim of my circumstances, not the master of my own fate. So, I decided to do something about it. I asked myself a question that changed everything. How much of my life is truly in my control? According to the ancient Stoics, the answer is so much more than you think if you can learn to master the internal world of your thoughts, emotions, and actions. I started a 30-day challenge, using their timeless wisdom to take back the wheel. And if you get any value from this, I'd be grateful if you liked the video. It helps this powerful wisdom reach more people who are ready to stop being passengers and start steering their own lives. In this video, I'm going to share how I went from being a passenger to the pilot of my own destiny, and the key lessons that can help you do the exact same thing. The storm before the calm. Let's be real about what that passenger life feels like today. It's a constant sense of overload. We wake up, and before our feet even hit the floor, our minds are hijacked. Hijacked by the notifications buzzing on our nightstand, by the phantom anxieties about the day ahead, by the frustrations still lingering from yesterday. We're pulled in 1,000 different directions, stuck in a state of emotional reactivity that makes us feel like we're just drifting. For me, the pain was sharp and constant. There was the endless cycle of overthinking and negative self-talk, where my own mind was my biggest bully. I'd replay mistakes on a loop, agonizing over what I should have said or done. I was addicted to external validation. My mood would soar with a little praise, and then crash with the slightest criticism. I lived with this low-grade hum of stress and anxiety, always trying to control things that were completely out of my hands. What a client would decide, what other people thought of me, even the traffic on my way to work. The most frustrating part? The inconsistency. I knew what I wanted to do. I'd read the books and listened to the motivational speeches. I had goals, but I was constantly getting pulled off course by impulse, procrastination, and distraction. I knew the destination, but I had no idea how to hold the rudder steady when the storms inevitably came. What this 30-day journey taught me is that this struggle, this feeling of being tossed around, isn't a sign of some external failure. It's the sign of an untrained mind. The real battle is internal. And the moment you realize this is the moment you stop trying to calm the ocean and start learning how to build a better ship. Because when you master your mind, the outside world starts to lose its power over you. Discovering the ancient compass. To navigate my inner world, I needed a compass. I found mine in an unlikely place. Stoicism. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Philosophy? Dusty books, abstract theories, nothing to do with real life. But Stoicism is the exact opposite. Think of it as an ancient operating system for the human mind, a practical philosophy designed for the chaos of the battlefield, the pressures of the political arena, and the challenges of everyday life. It's a philosophy of self-mastery and resilience, built on one simple, world-changing idea: focus on what is in your control and learn to accept what is not. The Stoics taught that mental discipline isn't about becoming a robot or suppressing your emotions. It's about turning your values into action, especially when you're under pressure. It's the ability to create a pause between a trigger and your response, and in that small gap, choose a path guided by reason, not by raw, unthinking emotion. The payoff for this practice is huge. Better decisions, less stress, and a life that feels full of purpose and direction. This was the compass I'd been looking for. It was time to actually use it. The 5 Stoic anchors that changed my life. My 30-day challenge wasn't some magical, overnight transformation. It was about installing a new set of mental tools, one day at a time. I started to think of these core Stoic principles as anchors, tools that could hold me steady, no matter how fiercely the storm raged. Here are the 5 anchors that changed everything for me. Anchor 1. The dichotomy of control, grasping the helm. The first and most important anchor is what the Stoics call the dichotomy of control. The philosopher Epictetus put it perfectly: some things are in our control and others not. In our control are our opinions, our choices, and our actions. Not in our control, our bodies, our reputations, our possessions, basically. Anything that isn't our own doing. Before this, my life was a mess of wasted energy, most of it spent on things I couldn't control. I'd obsess over a client's decision after a presentation, losing sleep over something I had zero influence on anymore. I'd get angry about a colleague's work ethic, trying to force them to care as much as I did. My 30-day practice was simple but revolutionary. The morning control audit. Every morning, I'd grab my journal, think about the most important thing I had to do that day, and draw a line down the middle of the page. On one side, I listed the uncontrollables, the final outcome, how other people might react, or unexpected problems. On the other side, I listed the controllables, the quality of my effort, how well I prepared, my attitude, and my choice to stay calm if things went wrong. The effect was like a dam bursting. All the energy I'd been wasting on worry was now redirected into a laser-focused beam on the things I could actually influence. My stress levels dropped because I stopped fighting reality and started working with it. I finally stopped trying to command the wind and started focusing on adjusting my sails. I was grasping the helm of my own ship. Anchor 2. Premeditatio malorum, charting the stormy seas. The second anchor sounds a little intimidating: premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This isn't about being a pessimist, it's about being a strategist. It's about visualizing obstacles in advance so you can strip them of their power, strengthening your resolve for whatever might come. I used to live in fear of what might happen. I had a crippling anxiety about public speaking, a fear of tough conversations, a terror of failure. But that fear didn't prepare me. It paralyzed me. During my challenge, I started doing this before any big event. If I had a presentation, I'd sit for 5 minutes and imagine the likely setbacks. The projector fails. A key person asks a hostile question. My mind goes completely blank. But I wouldn't stop there. For each scenario, I'd then visualize my calm, rational response. Projector fails? I smile, say, well, looks like technology is testing us today, and carry on with my printed notes. Hostile question. I take a breath, thank them for their perspective, and answer without getting defensive. This practice totally disarmed my anxiety. Fear thrives on the unknown. By making the worst-case scenarios known and planning my response, I took away their power. I was no longer just hoping for a smooth ride. I was training to be a capable captain, ready to navigate any storm. Anchor 3. The inner citadel. The 4 virtues. Building an unbreachable fortress. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote about building an inner citadel, a mental fortress you can retreat to and find peace, no matter what's going on outside. This fortress isn't built of stone, it's built of reason, and its walls are reinforced by the 4 Stoic virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. My old self ran purely on impulse. I was quick to anger, easily frustrated, and often said things in the heat of the moment I regretted. My actions were guided by the shifting winds of my emotions, not by a steady internal compass. My 30-day practice here had 2 parts. First, every morning I set a virtue-led intention, just a small commitment, like, today, when I feel frustrated with my kids, I'll practice temperance and respond with patience, not a short temper. Or, today, I'll practice justice by giving a colleague that difficult but fair piece of feedback. This forced me to act from my values, not just my impulses. Second, I adopted what might be the most powerful habit of the whole challenge: the nightly reflection journal, a practice used by Stoics like Seneca and Epictetus. Before bed, I'd ask myself 3 simple questions. What did I do well today? Where did my actions fall short of my values? What can I do better tomorrow? As Epictetus advised, you should allow not sleep to close your eyes until you've reviewed your day. This daily rhythm of intention and reflection slowly but surely built the walls of my inner citadel. I started observing my own impulses instead of being a slave to them. I was actively building my character, not just reacting to my day. Anchor 4. Voluntary discomfort, training for life's battles. This 4th anchor might be the most radical in our comfort-obsessed world: voluntary discomfort. The Stoics believed that to be strong when life forces hardship on you, you have to practice enduring it voluntarily in small, manageable doses. As Seneca suggested, we must treat the body rigorously so that it will not be disobedient to the mind. My life before was a shrine to comfort. I hated being cold, hungry, or tired. I avoided tough workouts and challenging tasks. But this endless search for comfort didn't make me happy. It made me fragile. The smallest inconvenience could ruin my day because I had 0 tolerance for hardship. During my challenge, I committed to 1 small act of voluntary discomfort every single day. I'd end my showers with 60 seconds of ice-cold water. I tried intermittent fasting. I did a tough workout even when I felt 0 motivation. And with each act, I would silently tell myself, I'm training the mind. This wasn't about self-punishment. It was resilience training. The cold shower reminded me that a feeling of discomfort is just a sensation, and I get to choose how I respond to it. The workout taught me that my mind is in charge, not the lazy impulses of my body. It systematically toughened me up to life's friction. I was no longer afraid of feeling uncomfortable, which gave me the freedom to take on bigger challenges, knowing I had the strength to endure. Anchor 5. The indifferent gaze, silencing the critics. The final anchor is all about reclaiming your peace, learning to view other people's opinions with an indifferent gaze. The Stoics teach that what others think of you is an external, it's outside your control. Handing your emotional well-being over to someone else's praise or criticism is giving away your freedom. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, the goal is to be strict with yourself, tolerant with others. Your standards are for you to live by, not for others to validate. I used to be a slave to what people thought. A negative comment on social media could send me spiraling. A lack of praise for a job well done felt like a total failure. I was constantly outsourcing my self-worth. My 30-day practice was about setting boundaries, both online and in my head. I turned off most notifications on my phone, creating a space for focus. More importantly, I started practicing mental triage on feedback. I made a conscious decision to have a very small whitelist of people, trusted mentors and friends, whose opinions I would truly consider. The opinions of the crowd, the anonymous critics, the random commenters, I practiced labeling them as indifferent, not good, not bad, just irrelevant to my inner peace and my mission. The result was a profound sense of stability. When you stop giving your power away to others, you realize you have an incredible amount of it left for yourself. My focus shifted from, "What will they think of me?" to "Did I act in line with my values?" And that's the only question that truly matters. A simple daily Stoic routine. So, how does this all fit into a busy modern life? It's simpler than you think. You don't need to move to a mountaintop. Here's the simple routine that came out of my 30 days. In the morning, 5–10 minutes. Start with your control audit. Grab a journal, identify your main task for the day, and separate what you can control from what you can't. Then, set one virtue intention. For example, today, I'll practice courage by speaking up in the team meeting. Midday, 5 minutes. Before a key meeting or a challenging task, run a quick, negative visualization. Imagine one or two things that could go wrong and decide on your calm response. Then, perform one act of voluntary discomfort. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Take a brisk walk without your phone, or drink your coffee black if you usually take sugar. In the evening, 5–10 minutes. Do your nightly reflection. Ask yourself, what went well? Where did I fall short of my virtues? What will I do better tomorrow? Finally, do a quick boundary check. Did I give my peace away to critics or external events today? That's it. It's a tiny investment of time that pays massive dividends in mental clarity, resilience, and personal discipline. The transformation in action. About 3 weeks into my challenge, a crisis hit that would have completely shattered my old self. I was leading a high-stakes project, and just 2 days before the deadline, a key team member quit unexpectedly, and we found a major bug in our work. The client was, to put it mildly, furious. The old me would have had a complete meltdown. Panic, finger-pointing, angry emails, and sleepless nights filled with anxiety. But the Stoic me responded differently. First, I immediately used the dichotomy of control. My colleague quitting was not in my control. The client's anger was not in my control. The bug was a reality I had to accept. What was in my control? My plan to fix it, the way I communicated with my team, and the professionalism I showed the client. Second, my practice of negative visualization meant that even though I hadn't predicted this disaster, I was mentally prepared for setbacks. The shock didn't paralyze me because I'd trained my mind to see obstacles as problems to be solved, not dead ends. Third, my virtue compass became my guide. Justice meant being fair and supportive to my stressed-out team, not blaming them. Courage meant calling the angry client immediately, owning the problem, and presenting a solution instead of hiding. Temperance meant I didn't fire off a reactive emotional message. I took a breath and composed a calm, clear plan. Wisdom meant reprioritizing everything and being brutally realistic about a new timeline. Fourth, the resilience I'd built through voluntary discomfort was my fuel. I woke up an hour earlier the next day, not out of panic, but with focused purpose. My body was tired, but my mind was trained and ready for the mission. Finally, I applied the indifferent gaze. I knew there was probably chatter and blame going around. I consciously chose to ignore it. My focus wasn't on my reputation. It was on my responsibility. The outcome? We still missed the deadline. I can't tell you the client was thrilled, but we handled the crisis with so much calm, professionalism, and ownership that we actually strengthened their trust in the long run. And more importantly, regardless of that external result, My internal victory was absolute. I wasn't a victim of the situation. I was the leader who navigated it. I had stayed calm in the heart of the storm. I didn't control what happened, but I had total control over how I responded, and that is what it means to shape your destiny. Conclusion. This journey taught me that destiny isn't some grand, predetermined path. It's the sum of your choices, your reactions, and your actions, day after day. If there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. Control your judgments, direct your actions with virtue, and accept whatever happens with grace. That is the formula for mental freedom. That is how you shape your destiny. Your power isn't in controlling the world. It's in controlling the one thing you truly own. Your mind. Grasp the helm daily. Now, I want to challenge you. This journey starts with one small step. In the comments below, tell me one controllable thing you are going to focus on mastering this week. Will it be your response to traffic, your preparation for a meeting, your patience with your family? Declare it, and let's begin. And if you want to keep building an unbreakable mindset, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more practical philosophy to help you master the art of living. Thank you for watching. Now go and take the helm